Here is an example of what I was talking about before, where we begin to guess what the zeros are. So, as we did earlier in this lesson, we say factors of 20, 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20 are factors of 20. And when the leading coefficient is 1, see, it's 1, so it's always 1 on the bottom. That's nice. I like that. Makes it easier. Well, I mean, it makes for fewer possibilities, which is nice when I'm guessing. So we guess 1 for x minus 1, and it's 24, so that's no good. So then we try negative 1, and we get 0, and we're like, hey, how lucky is that? That's great. So now we know if we got negative 1, then it means x minus 1 is remember, it's always a different sign when we see it in its factored format. The factor is x plus 1, and negative 1 goes with plus 1. So, and don't forget, we use these numbers. There's a 1 out in front of there, and a negative 9, and negative 9, and a 20, and a 20. Don't forget that. We know that the 0, they factor it again. X minus 4, x minus 5, and so we get these zeros down here. That's nice. Okay, that's what we're going to try to do down here. So let me see. We've got 14 on the top, so factors of 14. 1, 2, 7, and 14. Okay, and on the bottom we have 1 and 1 and 1 and 1. Okay, well, we kind of thought that would happen. Plus or minus, plus or minus, plus or minus. Alright, so these guys are all the result of that. And this 1 out here, that's a 1 there. Okay, so that's on the bottom. Alright, I think that obfuscates what's going on, so I'm going to take that away. And I suppose we'll just try what they tried. They tried a positive 1. Okay, let's try a positive 1. And our exponents are 1, right? So we say, or exponents, our coefficients, I apologize. Negative 8. Let me get rid of that first. Negative 8. Then we have plus 5, right? So we have 5. Then we have plus 14. Okay, so 14. Let's see how this works. Maybe we'll get lucky right from the beginning. Wouldn't that be nice? We'll say 1. We'll multiply 1 times 1 is 1. We'll combine that with a negative 8. We'll say 1 times negative 7. That's negative 7. We get a negative 2. We multiply by 1, we get a negative 2, and that gives us a 12. So it is not 1. Okay, well, we had to try something. So now we're going to try negative 1. Let's see how that works with the same numbers. And let's see what we get. So we bring the 1 down, we get 1. We multiply by negative 1, we get negative 1. We get negative 9 when we add those together. Negative 1 times negative 9 is positive 9. We get a 14. It's a negative 14, which means I get a 0. So this is success. I suppose I should write success. And so now we know one of the factors, and we know what's left as well. So we're going to say x plus 1, right? Because if I have minus 1, what goes with plus 1? Minus 1 is what I meant to say. What goes with minus 1 is a plus 1. I think that would have been a better way of saying it. What did I do here? I hit the wrong button. It's lovely. Good stuff. Good stuff. Here we go. Alright, so I also know these coefficients now. So I started with x to the third, so now I have x squared, right? And I have this minus 9, this one right here, times the next highest one, which is 1, and then plus 14 is my constant. There's my constant. And then I think to myself, can I factor this more? And I say, I think I can. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll say, trying to get a different color here. X plus 1, that doesn't change. But then here I'm going to say x factors of 14 that add up to negative 9. Well, if I use a negative for both of them, I'll say negative 7 and negative 2. When I multiply negative 7 and negative 2, I get plus 14. When I add them, I get negative 9. So I'm in good shape. And that's the factored version. And they're looking for zeros. So what are my zeros? Well, let's see. What goes with plus 1? Negative 1. Okay, there's 1. What goes with negative 7? Positive 7. What goes with negative 2? Positive 2. These are my zeros. Okay. Those are my 3 zeros. And the fact that I have a 3 here. It's not guaranteed that I'm going to have a 3, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility that was realized. And I suppose I should say failure here. This was a failure, but it's okay. It led to my success.